Yeah,
Back in the studio.
back again.
With a very special guest.
Gabriel.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Well, Gabriel, can you give us a little introduction and background?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So I'm originally from the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia. I was raised over there. Moved to the United States after I graduated high school and joined the Marine Corps. And after that, I went to culinary school and found my way into
Oh, really?
different arts. And it was a path for me to move through some PTSD from war and combat. And I ended up finding my way into the restaurant industry.
Thank you for your service to the country.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so
Anytime we have a
much.
veteran, we always would say thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no, thank
It's
you.
one of the reasons why we have our freedom. So
I really appreciate that. No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the service. And how many years were you?
I was in
service?
for 4 years. I was in combat for 15 months. I did linguistics, radio operations, interrogation, undercover work. I did a lot of really interesting stuff. Coming back from that experience was it was a lot. It was a lot to handle and deal with, and I found healing.
Did you ever have to shoot anybody?
We imagine war and combat and everything that encompasses that, and that's the
Like what you see in the movies?
it's not a very tactful question to ask right off the bat. It's really good you're interviewing a veteran. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
I mean, it's a common one though.
Yeah.
So but that's usually my answer. So imagine what you can think about combat being, and that was the environment that we all were in. Needless to say, coming back from that, you're given a host of issues that you're asked to deal with and move through, and everyone finds healing in different areas. I found mine through various different approaches, one of which was through food. And I went through culinary school and then ended up in the restaurant business up in Northern California.
What culinary school? What state?
It was in Hollywood. It was
Oh.
it was a chef's academy over there. It wasn't a big, prestigious like CIA or anything like that. For me, it was mostly about reaching a level of peace within myself from the experience that I had.
To just bring joy. And
So, what are
happiness
your some of your favorite dishes to cook, like just for fun, if you're cooking for yourself or family or friends?
Yeah, you know, I cook anything that makes my guests the most happy. So whatever they're in the mood for, I make. I like to cook with lamb. I make a lot of Middle Eastern dishes. I like to use a lot of spices. And that's
What's for dinner tonight?
Oh, I'm not cooking tonight, but next on the menu.
She just tried to do like a Jedi mind trick on you cooking.
I would love to have.
Kinga
a meal
love-
for all of
sure,
us.
we should go-
Kinga
we
loves
should-
good food.
We should cook together. No, absolutely. You're welcome
That's
anytime. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, I also would like to do some charity dinners. Richard and I have talked about doing wine and
Right.
food dinners. You could be our chef.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm of that caliber to, I could definitely help out, but I have some friends of mine that would be able to assist in that for sure.
So your culinary school, was that a 1 or 2 year program?
It was a couple of year program.
Yeah.
I did it faster. I was on
Yeah.
a fast track,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really about wanting to be a professional chef
Sure.
or work
Right.
in that field necessarily. It was more about healing.
Mhm.
So
It is so healing because it's distracting in a positive way. And it's happy and it's just you're
Right.
creating something.
Well, there was a much more specific reason for me. You're
Oh,
correct
really?
in all
Okay.
of those and all that you said, and I found the benefits of all of that when I was there. But my decision to go to culinary school was directly related to my analyzing of the dreams I was having that was preventing me from living a functional life. So in your dreams, if you
I'm confused. You were analyzing your dreams?
I was analyzing my nightmares when I came
Oh.
back from war.
Okay.
And
Too much
I
time
became
thinking.
very fluent in the language of symbolism and mythology, and everything in your dreams represents something within your psyche and your subconscious mind. I was studying Freud, Hillman, Carl Jung. I was obsessed with this process, and I would capture my dreams every night and I would dissect them. Everything in your dream is symbolic. So whenever you're dreaming about food, I came to realize that food symbolically represents love, nourishment, and life force. And it was always a very positive message my subconscious was delivering to me when I had dreams about food. So I used to pray to dream about food. And from that desire alone, was the basis
Sure.
of my decision to go to culinary school, because I figured if I surrounded myself with food, chances are I'll probably dream about it. So
That was
a
too
great-
smart.
That's a
Yeah,
great,
that-
yeah.
That's
yeah.
So
absolutely
you
brilliant.
you actually initiated lucid dreaming by doing that,
This
Yes,
is so great.
that's
So,
right,
so
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
for those of you that are listening, we are going to be doing some wine tasting, and I don't want to spoil it for us, but you have a winery that's new, and it's in collaboration with a French winery.
That's
And
right.
let's get to that. But could we pour a little bit so we could be sipping on something?
Sure, yeah,
I'm a little bit
absolutely.
Yeah, let's
parched.
get a little,
I'm a little
we'll
bit
get to it.
parched.
let's get a little background
I
on which
need
one
to
we're
sip
tasting
something.
first.
Can you get
Like
these
they
on
said,
on
We get the
camera?
buzz going, and then we're routine the conversation 100%.
Yeah, there's not really wine tasting with her, it's wine drinking with her. It's not really tasting.
You fit right in with my friend's group.
Thank you.
that's
Looks like we're starting with the Chardonnay, right?
Yeah, so actually this is a good segue. So from there, I found my love for food, obviously, and then found my way into the restaurant business. And I was a managing partner at some restaurants in Northern California. And wine was a big part of that operation, obviously.
Was it
And-
always your dream to own a winery?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Actually, I come from a
Yeah,
country
they
where
can see it.
alcohol is 100% illegal. So
It is?
It
Sure.
is, yes.
Saudi
What?
Arabia, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
Chet,
maybe,
did you know that?
Yeah, that's pretty common knowledge.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sounds
Liberal laws there.
Yeah.
Something. Thanks to you all. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being here. This is my favorite kind of show. Tasting
Mhm.
wine with a wine owner, somebody that's following your dreams.
Absolutely, yeah. So my motto in life is move in the direction of your highest excitement. So whether that was leaving Saudi Arabia, joining the military, going to culinary school, moving to the restaurant business, working with the government again after that, opening up several businesses and investments, insurance, and real estate, all kinds of different things. I've published a book.
Wow.
I-
What book?
It's an autobiography, actually. Yeah, it was a book that I wrote surprisingly very, very quickly, but it was for a purpose. It was for a humanitarian purpose. My best friend in the Marine Corps was kidnapped by the Iranian government. And
Wait, your best friend was kidnapped by the
he's a
federal-
Marine, so yeah, so we were enlisted together, and we served in Iraq at the same time. And when he got back, he got out of the military. He's of Iranian descent. Planned a trip to Iran to visit his grandmother, his dying grandmother, and informed all the proper authorities, the United States embassies, the Iranian government, let them know of his background in the military, and then he left to go visit family over there. On the day before he was flying back to the United States, his family threw a goodbye party, a farewell party for him, and that's when the Iranian government snatched him and kidnapped him and accused him of espionage and spying for the CIA.
Wow.
The usual. You know.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
just
the
made it all
usual,
up.
right?
Just made it all up.
It was crazy. Yes, it made it all up. He was wrongfully accused, but he was sentenced to death. So he was in prison for 5 years.
Why did they choose him?
That's a good question. I would imagine because of his ties to the U.S. military
Sure.
and him being an easy explanation to the general public as to how he could be affiliated with a secret agency such as the CIA. That would be my best
Yeah.
guess.
Oh, wow.
Trust
Wow.
me,
Yeah.
he knew that this was possible when he went there. I imagine that at some level he knew that this was
Oh, 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, we all knew it was possible.
Yeah.
That's why he did his due diligence.
Right.
And
He did everything he could.
So
he
did
did
you help
everything
free
he could.
him?
But yes.
So we're going to get to that. But
So that was the reason.
cheers.
for
This
the-
is delicious.
Yeah.
I want to say it's delicious.
Well,
we all
let's-
took
Well,
a
yeah,
sip.
it's a pretty
We're gonna-
heavy story, but the
Cheers,
wine is
cheers.
incredible.
Let's take a
It's so-
short
it's
break in the story to tell
us
you
about
what
the
we
wine.
are
I
drinking.
I want to say right off the
You know.
bat, a lot of Chardonnays are too sweet for me, but this one's not. It's like
Well, there's a reason
perfect
for that.
mild level. of
There's a
sweetness.
reason for that.
Right. So
Delicious.
So
It's very
this
buttery.
wine, wow, I don't even know where to begin.
I
Richard,
know.
why don't you kick it
Yeah.
off and then I'll
Okay,
pick
first
up where
of
you.
all, yeah,
I don't
first
even know
of
where to
all,
start.
The
We're
wine
talking
that
about
we're-
the book, now we're talking about
yeah,
the
I
wine.
know. We're jumping around a bit. The wine we're drinking is Boyer Family Winery. There's the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir.
Well, we're doing a commercial for your wine really quickly, and then we're
Yeah.
getting back to the
Yeah.
book. So I taste citrus.
Well, yeah. So this wine is made in California in the Santa Lucia Highlands part of Monterey, which is a very well-known wine area, especially for Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And of course, the winemaker, we'll get to more of this.
Vincent Boyer.
Vincent Boyer, who also has a top-tier domain in Burgundy.
4 generations of
He's a
winemaking.
fourth-generation winemaker. Yeah,
did her homework.
Yeah. Fourth-generation
Four
winemaker
generations.
of Boyer Martineau in the Merceau region, the village of Merceau in Burgundy. So this wine is made in the Burgundian style. So that's
And he had a dream.
yes, he's
to
been
come
wanting.
to
He had a
California.
dream to do this for many years, and
And here it
we'll
is.
get to that how we met Gabriel. But this wine is not your average Chardonnay.
Oh no, it's amazing.
From California. This is much more like a Burgundy. Low alcohol, high acidity.
Very
Vincent
European.
likes to say it has tension.
Yeah, he likes that description.
Tension. But it's a beautiful description.
I
Think
agree.
of the tension between the acidity
It's salacious.
and the fruit.
It's totally salacious.
And, it's what?
Mhm.
Very well
Salacious.
Salacious? Did you say
It's my newest
salacious?
word, yes.
Well, you know what salacious means? It has nothing to do with tasting anything.
Yeah, I don't think she
For
knows
me,
what it means.
I come
yeah.
up with my words, and that's what it means.
Well, it
No,
sounds.
no. You want to have proper usage.
It
Otherwise,
sounds great.
It's gibberish.
Salacious. That's good.
I
Yeah.
think
I'm
we
making you
we all
laugh,
get, we all
Gabriel.
get the point in context. It makes a lot of sense. We'll give it to her.
Yeah, actually, I kind of like that for wine. I would take that.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
But
Yeah, no, it's delicious.
Did David get some?
mhm.
Okay, perfect. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
So this is the Chardonnay 2019.
Mhm.
We'll get into a lot more information about it, but this is the premier vintage.
Okay, so if somebody like me wants to go out and buy it tonight,
Forget it.
where should we get it?
No,
You can't get it
We've,
online.
You
we've
call
called
me.
Gabriel.
you call me, I'll hook you up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
So
the,
Richard's the plug.
Richard's the plug for sure. He's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
So this wine came into fruition as a result of a dream Vincent Boyer was having. And since he started making wines and his internship in Napa Valley with Truchard, he always wanted to make a California Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Burgundy, where he's from, is the mecca of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. So
Yep.
obviously he wanted to work
Yep.
with those grapes. He picked the Santa Lucia Highlands because of the appellation and the terroir of that region when it comes
Santa Lucia.
to the
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can sing it
yeah,
too,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So he began, looking into areas that he wanted to, source grapes from, and he chose that appellation. Many years went by, and this dream never came into fruition for many different logistical reasons. I had friends of mine in the restaurant business that were originally from France. They ended up moving out there for a period of time, met Vincent, became very good friends with him, and learned of his dream and learned of the gap.
Was he looking for funding?
No, he was needing more of a business partner that was in the United States.
That could run things.
That could manage everything, that could set everything up. Someone that he trusted, because he obviously can't be in 2 places at once, and he has vineyards, so he's actually farming grapes over there. So it's very demanding, and he's extremely busy. So my friends thought of me and brought me to the table, introduced me to him, and
Beautiful collaboration.
yeah,
Magical.
and then we collabed. He wasn't coming to the United States anytime soon, and I wasn't going to do business with somebody I didn't know, and he obviously is the same way. So I jumped on a plane and went to France. And,
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be there a day or
Wow.
a month or what.
And what
And
age group is this Vincent Boyer?
Early 40s.
Okay, so
Yeah.
about the same. Or you look like you're like 30.
Yeah, late 30s. I'm late 30s. He's early 40s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we became fast friends. I landed over there, and I ended up living there for a good period of time. I bottled the vintage before, so I was there in 2018. We bottled 2017 together, and then I harvested 2018 with him. Was a part of the entire winemaking process with
So
him. which
you
was
meant to tell me
unbelievable.
you stopped everything you were doing and went over there for a full year to just
That's
discover
right. Like
this
I
whole
said, I
Vincent
move in
Boyer.
the direction of my highest excitement, and that right
There
there
you
was
go.
my highest excitement.
That's so
There you
cool.
go.
Look at that.
Yeah, right?
That's
That's what I
really
did.
It's
following
really
your dreams.
spontaneous. Yeah, that's
That's
so
it.
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Wait.
Cheers to
hello.
that.
Hey, I need a little more.
Cheers to spontaneity.
Cheers to following your dreams, spontaneity,
Amen.
and making
Yes.
things happen.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Taking the
Yeah.
initiative.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta go on
Cheers.
an adventure like that and you'll
Oh,
learn some
that's
skills.
Cheers.
Oh, absolutely.
And David, if you have any questions, just grab the mic and
Yeah, so stepping out of my comfort zone is not a foreign thing for me. So that's what gives me the ability to make decisions like that. And a lot of people, struggle with the aspect, and rightfully so, the fear aspects of, what's going to happen next. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And but yeah, it takes it does take perseverance and dedication to manifesting and passion. And to manifesting what it is that you want out of life. Anyway, so back to the wine. Him and I became fast friends, and then we started laying the foundation for this winery. This is a very, very special project. It's a dream that come to life for Vincent, and we treated it with supreme attention, care, love, energy that you can imagine. It's a very limited production, extremely boutique, extremely exclusive. This is a California wine from one of the great appellations for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay that Vincent, being a Burgundian winemaker, is the only Burgundian winemaker that we know of to make a Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from this prestigious region of California for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
So how low is the number of bottles on this?
Okay, that's a good question. So production size is 100 cases of each.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
100 cases of each, which is extremely, extremely small, but we are very, very specific. The best of the best went into this wine. The grapes are top of the line. The farming that goes into the grapes that we use to source, to make this wine is top tier, and that was one of the biggest processes that we went through.
Very sustainable.
Extremely sustainable. You already told me that.
Very clean.
Yeah.
Wow.
Clean farming, clean winemaking.
And I don't want to brag on, talk about prices too much, but I know that some of the restaurants are carrying it for over $300. What does it cost in a restaurant?
I'll let
that
Richard
depends.
speak to that.
Like Monarch.
Depends.
How much is it at Monarch?
Monarch is just short of $300 for the Pinot, not for this.
Okay, but for the Pinot.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very exclusive wine.
Which is not unusual. Usually a restaurant will mark up 3 times wholesale. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So these wine, and we'll talk about the pricing. The Chardonnay wholesales at over $120. Or I'm sorry, retails at over 120, and the Pinot Noir close to like 185. Wholesale prices are different.
So if a restaurant gets it, then they're gonna do the markup, and that's why you.
And then restaurant prices are different than retail.
Yeah, restaurant was a much higher markup.
So it's gonna be at the Wrigley. It's gonna. I know it's gonna be at the Wrigley.
Yes.
We're friends with Christopher.
And you know what? My hat's off, and I salute Richard. This is 100% his efforts and his doing getting these placements at some of these prestigious restaurants. So much credit to Richard for that. He's very, very well versed in the wine world. His reputation and his Rolodex in this community is without measure.
It's true.
Yes, and he brought a lot of the right people or this wine in front of a lot of the right people, and it's very easy. And Richard, I'm sure, will tell you himself that this wine speaks for itself too. So it makes it a lot easier to be an ambassador, which he is. A fantastic one at that for such a unique project.
Yeah. So I eat at 5-star restaurants every single night, and I was eating at Lon's the other night, and Brian, is it Downey at Lon's?
Who? Brian, is it Downey? Yeah.
And so I mentioned you and this wine.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah."
I've tasted it.
He said, "I think I'm gonna get it."
No, I've
tasted it. And then I was at Maple and Ash a couple nights before that. And that sommelier Daniel
So let's
Weber.
talk food pairings real quick with the Chardonnay. What would be some of your favorite recommendations?
So this wine, I just absolutely love this Chardonnay because it's got fantastic acidity, which is in my opinion, one of the best qualities for a wine being food friendly is the acidity, especially with a white wine. The oak on it is very mild. It's not this big oak monster that's going to come out kind of like the big Rombauers or the Napa Chardonnays that a lot the
So it's not like your ZD or your Rombauer.
No, this is very much old world. It's very balanced.
Very old world.
Kiss of oak. The acidity is phenomenal. As far as food pairings, I would recommend. I mean, it would be good with shellfish. Oysters would be amazing because that acidity will cut through.
I was
There's
thinking
so much.
scallops. I love
Scallops would be-
Perfect, perfect.
So
yeah.
I know what
Fantastic
old world
scallops.
means, but
Yeah.
let's see, Chet, do you know what old world means when you're referring to wine? And if you don't, can you define it, Gabrielle?
I'm not totally sure about the definition, but I would assume it means like kind of like an older style of making the wine.
Like
It
European?
means European, basically.
European. But I've heard that it can also encompass other countries, but it's not America.
Right. So old world would represent probably, I mean, there might be more France, Italy, Portugal, Spain. Those are old world region.
And
wine production
Eastern Europe
regions.
as well. Eastern Europe as
Eastern
well.
Europe
yeah.
would be a part of that.
So
New
only
World-
Europe. Not you wouldn't consider like
No, when you're speaking in wine terms, old world means Europe. Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Central Europe, Europe, pretty much, yeah.
okay, I can't remember the other night when I was eating out, somebody was talking about old world, and then they included countries like, was it like Africa?
No.
Okay, so it's just Europe.
Not for wine.
Okay, it's just Europe. Okay,
Africa would be New World. If you're talking
Okay,
about New
okay.
World wines like South African wines, but this is getting off topic. The point is, the style of this wine is representational of old world, because in France, Italy, etc., in Europe, wine is made to be consumed with food. Period. You know.
That's right. Yeah, and old world, I mean, if we're going to just give a broad, generalization as far as the difference between old world and new world, you could describe the new world as being more fruit forward, and the residual sugar that is in the grapes that are being used to make the wine have a higher percentage of residual sugar, thus converting through the fermentation process a higher alcohol content of the wine.
Right.
And new world is more moderate climate. So those grapes are ripening at a different pace with a different, much lower residual sugar percentage within those grapes that are being used to make those wines. So they become, the acidity of those wines are higher, the alcohol
Old
is
world.
lower.
Old
And
world.
So you
this
can
is the
drink
old
a lot
world.
more.
This is the
Yeah,
old world.
old world.
So you
we
can
drink a lot more.
That's what-
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it's
is the old
true.
world.
So it's simple. The grapes are picked earlier, so there's less sugar to be converted to alcohol. So this is 13%. Both of these wines, 13% alcohol, which is typical for Burgundy.
Well, it's just
Right.
exquisite.
It is exquisite.
It is
You're
exquisite.
absolutely right. This
It's
is a very
exceptional.
good. This word,
Extraordinary.
I describe this world as, and this wine, and the whole process of making this wine as impeccable.
Impeccable.
Yes.
I
Is
would
there
agree.
room at that dinner tomorrow night?
Yes, there is. Tickets for
I'm-
that actually close at the end of the day today.
I'm
so-
going.
You
Are
are?
you really?
I
That would
want-
be
and-
amazing.
Well, you
I
have to
wanna-
get a ticket today.
I know. Okay, so how many more openings are there?
There, don't you worry. You just,
Okay.
however, how many were you thinking?
Well,
We can
my dad.
accommodate.
Oh wait! Cheers to my dad. My
Yeah,
dad.
Cheers to your
My
dad,
dad just
yes.
passed away,
Cheers to
and
your
my
dad.
dad. It's not a tragedy. It's not sad because my dad lived every day to the fullest.
Yeah.
That's where I got my personality, and that's where my kids have theirs. And he made every day exceptional. Every day was a gift. Every day he'd make it count. He made a difference. Every day was a party. He worked hard, partied harder,
Yeah.
and so
Well, he was in
not-
the medical. He was a surgeon too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
cardiologist.
Cardiologist.
So I would like to be there because we're
We
gonna
would love
have
to
the
have
funeral
you.
during the day, and then let's
That
go.
would be that would be perfect.
Okay.
Celebration of life for him, and we can accommodate as many people that decide to show up, and we can even shut down the restaurant. I've got communication from the director over there. It's just a matter of knowing how many he covers, and so that they
I'll
can
let you know
accommodate.
by
with-
tonight.
Just all you have to do really is follow that link and
Okay.
You got
get
the-
help
you got
for
the
however
information,
many
yeah.
people so
Okay.
that they can plan accordingly. And if we need to shut down the restaurant, we will. But we have plenty of room. Plenty.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, absolutely.
Cheers,
Cool.
Daddy.
Another interesting fact about this wine I wanted to bring to your attention was there's a very fun fact about it is because it's so limited in its production size, 100 cases of each, very sought after for obvious reasons. It's made by the only Burgundian winemaker to make a Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from this region of California. These wines are being described as the best Pinot Noir and Chardonnay that's ever come out of Santa Lucia Highlands,
believe
and
it.
the best that Santa Lucia Highlands has to offer, because Vincent made these wines exactly the same way he would make his French wines if he harvested these grapes from his own vineyards. didn't change a thing. He didn't want to cater to the palate of the masses. He didn't want to get into this whole marketing strategy as far as the type and profile of the wines that you're making so that you can have a broader audience. He didn't care about that at all. He wanted to make the best of the best that comes from this fantastic world-renowned region of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from California. So that's number one. Number two is the boutiqueness of this wine is very concentrated because we only are working with the best grapes that there are. And that obviously is not going to be a huge quantity. Now, when you couple that with the demand and the scarcity for such high quality grapes, you start spending a lot of money as well. So this was a very expensive project to do. It's a very small project. And all of that being said, we managed to produce our first vintage 2019 of 100 cases of each. 100% of all of these cases and this entire inventory is in the state of Arizona.
Ta-da! Yeah. Which makes
There's something so cool about
quite exclusive.
And there's something cool about exclusive wine.
Exactly.
Because it's like a true experience. Not everybody's going to get to do this.
That's
This
right.
is right.
That's
It-
right.
It's a very limited experience.
It is definitely a marketing.
I think we need to pour
tool.
these wines at his next show. Can I announce when your next show is? Chet's a music producer.
No, not yet. It's
slash
not
DJ.
announced yet. You're supposed to not
It's a big
announce
secret.
it yet.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
And if people at my
Jumping
shows are ripping tequila shots, that's not the
Yeah,
place for
this is not-
exquisite wine.
this is
Well,
not-
This would be good to eat at the dinner beforehand, but
Yeah,
to drink with the dinner
exactly.
beforehand.
This is not a cocktail wine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not a cocktail wine.
All right, so we'll do
So-
the dinner at the Music Mansion beforehand.
One more thing to add the exclusivity to a higher level, if it could even get any higher, is that 100% of this production and the inventory is in the state of Arizona, but add on to that 100% of the distribution is only available to Arizona businesses and residents, period. So on the
Interesting.
retail side, on the business side, I've had to turn down businesses and restaurants that are wanting this wine for obvious reasons, and the answer is always, I'm sorry, but this is exclusive to the state of Arizona. It's kind of like our little super flex on the rest of the wine community.
So did you guys not sell it in California because of the taxes? Or
No,
what's the
That's a
reason?
good question.
Not at all.
Well, everybody, it's
class.
infamous how
You know.
high the taxes are there. Everybody knows that. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But that has no bearing on the decision whatsoever.
Okay.
This is 100% us wanting to connect with our community, wanting to.
Because Gabriel lives here now.
'Cause
He
I live
used to
here
live
as
in
well,
California, but now he lives
Oh
in
yeah, I was just
Scottsdale,
asking
okay?
because the grapes are from Napa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, I'm not
No,
telling
San
you
Lucia.
who our premier sponsor is, Jerry, but I talked to him earlier today because he's coming to the funeral tomorrow. And I told him about this exclusive wine. And he's like, really? How do I get it? And I said,
Okay, well, that
"It's
can be arranged.
Yes, yeah. So it's a very interesting and it's, I mean, I would know if
So
I
how
had
much
a
is a
restaurant.
case? How much can we get a case for? Let's just cut right to the chase.
I'll throw that back to Richard.
I want to fill up my whole. I have 2 wine cellars. Three? How do I fill them up?
We can facilitate the sale for you. We can give you some special pricing. We could talk offline on that and discuss that for you for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
I guarantee you, every time you open the bottle, you or any of the guests that you choose to open it for will be absolutely pleased, and it will satisfy everything you'd want in a wine, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, with any meal that you're having.
So how exciting! You brought all this wine and this collaboration and this magic together. Wow.
Yes, it was.
Are you feeling just joyous and thankful and grateful?
I am.
And happy?
I am. It took me a while in life to actually celebrate accomplishments because it's always like what's next. But no, this project has been a desire. We had the meeting of the minds for this project since 2017, and we strategized. 2018 was when I was in France. We harvested 2019 when I got back and laid the foundation for the company. And we only just received our inventory of the 2019, our first vintage, not that long ago. It must be like 60 days or a few months. It hasn't been that long at all. So think of that, how long we've waited to see this come full circle to where we actually have a product that we can distribute, that we can taste, that we can Yeah, so it's a lot of patience. Yes, this Pinot Noir is going to blow your mind.
I can't say the word I want to say.
What? Holy shit!
And I can actually totally relate because the process on a lot of my songs is over 18
well,
months.
the wine business is the same way. It takes time.
Yeah.
So Deep Chetty, if you want to find his music, Deep Chetty, Deep Chetty.
Like the song that I'm releasing with my sister this Friday. It's called "Burn It Down." We have been working on this song for over 2 years.
Wow.
Like, I've been
It's
playing
incredible.
it out. Playing it out at shows, making small tweaks because like hearing it live on big sound systems, it's like the best way to like hear little things you want to switch with the mix down or the mastering process.
See, this is interesting because what you're describing is a process not unlike what goes into making a great wine.
That's exactly the comparison I was trying to make.
Details.
Right?
100%.
And that quest for perfection, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
It's not something you can just crank out in a few months.
Yeah.
It is.
It takes years.
And you can have people that have the same equipment as you do, have the same access to the same, material, the same resources, and produce a totally different product. Wine is the same way. You can have the same barrels, you can have the same grapes, you can have the same everything. It's like ingredients in a kitchen. You can have a basket of ingredients, 2 different chefs. You're going to get 2 different meals entirely. So that's the beautiful artistic process about wine, and that's what I love about wine is because it's not only is it a whole food, which is actually it is. It's a complete food, and it's a living, breathing.
Wow, wow. This is exceptionally exquisite.
With a real wine, what I'm talking about, a natural
it's so
wine.
salacious.
I've been enjoying the Chardonnay so slowly. I still need to switch over to the.
This one's even extra salacious.
But the point I want to make that with a real wine, in other words, a natural wine, or wine that is not manipulated like commercial wines are, wine is an agricultural product. Each year, it's going to be different. Same process, but you're going to taste next year's Chardonnay. It's going to be equally, a lovely wine, but it's going to be different because it's a living thing.
I love it.
Right, and that's one of the things I fell in love with about wine is that it encompasses everything: art, history, geology, geography, even war. You can study war and have the effects of that on wine. Like even the region of Champagne, northern France, and what they went through during the war. It's an incredible gift that we have, and just to be a part of it and have this winery is just a dream.
You should read
the culture.
I have.
But another book on wine.
The circle
on wine, the way you speak, it's so eloquent.
I don't know.
You're articulate, you're eloquent.
And the culture around wine and a lot of those old world locations that we were talking about earlier, like France and Spain and Italy, the culture around wine there's so much different. It like brings the family together. Everybody drinks at meals and stuff like that.
That's so true.
Here, like there's like more of like the puritanical culture, like drinking is shamed, and then people go rip shots at the bar. When wine really should be enjoyed with the meal, with the family, bringing people together. It should be a positive experience.
That's how it is in the old world.
Exactly.
Europe,
so it's good to bring like that culture too.
Right.
We're doing the old world.
Wine is on the table. Wine is literally another food group.
It's my salad. Hello.
I forget. I'm paraphrasing, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I remember reading during a conflict. I forget where it was in the world, but both sides agreed to cease fire so that they could both harvest their grapes.
Well,
their priorities straight.
That happened in Lebanon, for instance.
Oh, Lebanon.
Chateau Muzar.
Chateau Moussaf. Yes, that's right. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Ceasefire. We check on the grapes.
We have to harvest.
We have to harvest the
Can't
grapes.
lose our grapes. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yes, 100%.
It's so exquisite. Let's open up a restaurant just so I can Okay, so
we'll stock your cellar.
So is there going to be another like production run of the Boyer grapes in California?
Boyer Family Winery.
Boyer Family Winery, yes, absolutely. So 2019 was our first vintage. 2020 we were only able to have our allocation and harvest Chardonnay. So there was no Pinot Noir for 2020. 2021, I mean, COVID, I don't need to explain how this affected, businesses, but it definitely affected us as well as everyone else. 2021, we didn't participate for logistical reasons. And then we also had fires in California that really damaged a lot of the grapes due to ash taint.
I was going to ask you about that. It destroyed a lot of your.
Yeah. So when fires occur, one of the sad things that could happen is that the ash that falls from the sky rests on the grapes themselves, and when that happens, no matter how much you rinse and you clean, you end up with that ash taste, and it just ends up
You cannot make
you
can't
can't make
a
the
good
wine.
It would be like a mezcal wine.
Exactly. Like an ashtray.
Like, what is this?
Smoky wine, yeah.
That's funny.
Mezcal, that's true.
I'm a tequila head, so that's where my brain went immediately. Like, smoky, mezcal.
Yeah. We're like ashy. We're like an ashtray.
Yeah, not good.
No. So we sat out 2021, and then 2022. This year we are also harvesting, but then again we're affected because of a drought. That just recently I was communicated to with the team over in Santa Lucia Highlands that there was a massive drought. So our yields on the grapes are going to be lower.
A little lower for 22.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But but it's not discouraging. It's not discouraging at all, because this is the sport. This is the game. This is the journey and the life of being in this business and nature. We're very much connected with nature in this.
I love the way
respect.
you're referring to it being the sport, because it's so true. You're gonna have defeat, but then you're victorious again.
Exactly. Yes.
Love it.
And same as sport, you're a part of a team, and that cohesion and that vision and that desire all comes into place. And like you referenced earlier, we work hard and we play hard too. We all do it together, so it's fun.
So now, do you have a better half that's helping you with this?
Am I married? No, I'm not married. I have family though that are very supportive. I have business
Girlfriends?
friends. I do have a girlfriend. Yes.
One, okay.
Yes. Yes, just one.
And
Only
is she
need
part
one.
of it? Does she
She's all I
partake
need.
with this?
Does she partake? She enjoys wine. She's such a foodie. She
Love it.
loves food. She loves wine. I tease her saying the path to her heart is through her tummy. When it comes to
You have to bring
food.
her next time.
I would love to.
You'll
She
bring
would
her
love
next
to
time.
be here. She's training right now. She does competitive figure modeling. And she's active duty in the Air Force. She's stationed in Tucson.
Really?
Yeah, her name's
Oh.
Leilani. She's beautiful.
Oh.
She's
Wow,
a dream come true. Yeah.
she's in the Air
amazing.
Force?
She's in the Air Force. Yes.
We have to have her on next time.
Oh yes, no,
Cheers
you would love
Leilani.
her. Yeah, here's to you, baby.
Oh, I love it.
That's cool.
Beautiful.
Right on, brother.
You can't come without her next time.
I won't. I will bring a
Tell
few
her
extra bottles too. Yeah, so she's been super supportive. She always is supportive. I can't wait for her. Her next competition is going to be at the end of October, and then maybe she's going to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to go and paint the town all different kinds of colors, going from restaurant to restaurant and catching up on all the great food and wine that she's been missing out on while she's been in training. But no, she loves this wine, loves food, and I can't wait to introduce her to you guys.
All right, so what would be your food pairings with this Pinot?
This Pinot
yes.
can literally.
Amazing.
I mean,
Very
I'm
versatile.
going to
Very
answer your
versatile.
question, but literally could go with
Amazing.
anything.
Incredible.
My favorite pairing for this is, and maybe I'm, partial because I'm from the Middle East, is lamb.
Lamb,
I love lamb with this Pinot Noir.
Mhm.
The slight, gaminess of the lamb, it's not such a dark meat. Pairs nicely with the fruit and the acidity. The acidity of this Pinot Noir is stellar. The quality just comes through. This is an elegant, sexy,
sexy, salacious.
Salacious. Yes.
Very silky. Think of poetry. This wine is
Poetry
a
in a
poem in a
glass.
glass.
Yeah.
And it takes me places. Many times when I was in the restaurant business, I would my staff would tease me because I'm so passionate about wine and how I describe it. And even when I was tableside talking to guests and customers, I'd ask them, close your eyes and tell me, what do you see and what kind of experience are you wanting to have as they're trying to choose a bottle of wine. And my staff looks at me like, what are you talking about? Just give them a Cabernet from Napa. Everyone loves that. But if you allow it to, wine can heal the soul.
It's so true. You need to write a book about wine.
About wine.
So your autobiography, how do we find it?
So back to the book. To answer your question, yes, we got my friend out. He was released. It took 5 years, but we did get him out. He's living a happy life. He's with his family in Michigan.
So what was the process of getting him out like?
And were
You've
you
been there for 5 years. with a death sentence on his head.
That's right.
And
That's
you
a
were hands-on
really
helping
sticky
him?
situation to get someone out of. That's not.
Yeah,
He was hands-on helping him.
It was a group. It was definitely a group effort, raising awareness for his cause, applying pressure to the administration that was in office at the time, and can just, you know, there's a term, out of sight, out of mind, and so we were never going to be out of sight. We were in everyone's face about it, raising awareness to our community, raising awareness to the United States population as a whole, the government officials, writing to congressmen, and as a final, you know, act of in desperation, because we were at that 5-year mark. I didn't know what else to do to raise more attention for his cause. So I published a book that Hollywood at the time, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I started working in Hollywood. I became a professional actor and model and voiceover actor. And every producer I ever met would tell me, Gabriel, we need to write your story into a script. Do you know how much attention you would get? Do you know how much attention it would get? Do you know how much money we would make? Do you know how much attention we would get? And all I could think about was attention, attention, attention. So I could never do it then for money purposes, but I could do it to save a life. And that's what I did. So I wrote that story that producers were begging me to write in Hollywood, but I did it in a way where I folded my friend's story and his cause into the book. The book was about me, not about him. Dedicated it to him, and began distributing it in an effort to raise awareness for his cause. Once we got him out of prison.
Wait, who helped you do that?
Well, it was ultimately the Obama. It was ultimately the Obama administration. It was not an extraction process where we went in and, like, with, you know, SEALs or you know, any special forces like that. It was.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Was like,
it was diplomatic.
I was picturing that, but I didn't know which way it was. Yeah.
It was a diplomatic negotiation that was met.
Kind of like Brittany Griner right now, when they're trying to switch when we're trying to like swap a
trade.
Yeah, trade for
a trade.
I mean, it's not 100% comparable because your friend didn't break any laws.
Not a criminal,
she
but
technically broke a law there, which is why she got arrested.
But one of our prisoners that we want to do a swap for her.
Yeah.
Were you talking about the girl in Russia?
Yes.
You know, yes.
Yeah, basketball player.
They're in the same boat, maybe different sides of the boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing. You're basically being held by a foreign government, you know, for whatever reason.
Nonsense.
Yeah, and yes, exactly. So once he was in Swiss airspace outside of the Iranian jurisdiction and airspace where we knew that he was clear, he was on his way back, and there could be no reversing of the decision. That's when I took the book offline and no longer sold it, and haven't sold a copy since. So it was very specific for a humanitarian cause and mission. That once we accomplished that mission and objective and realized our success, that was it. We closed the book, no pun intended, on that, and then we moved on. That's when I started doing yoga.
What do you not do? You also do yoga.
I do yoga every day. Actually, I do hot yoga every day.
Really?
I do.
So what are the benefits of that?
Of hot yoga?
Yes.
For me, because I'm so busy, I have multiple companies. I'm COO of multiple different companies. I have a lot of different business partners that I am responsible to, and then obviously the winery. I have, my time is very, very valuable. So I choose hot yoga as a way of checking multiple boxes simultaneously. I get the workout that I need. I get the detoxification through sweating that I need. I get the meditation, the moving meditation. Because if you ever do a hot yoga class, if you guys, I invite you to come with me.
We will.
Oh,
Let's
it's
do
fantastic.
it.
There's really nothing you can possibly think of while you're in that class.
Really?
You can't. You're not thinking about your errands. You're not thinking about your to-do list. You're just thinking about your next breath and how you're going to make it out of there alive. So for me, it's a meditation. It's a way of unplugging. It's a way that I can focus on.
Is it stretching too?
I swear, yoga is like the number one
yoga.
cure for back pain. If I'm ever feeling stiff anywhere in my core or my back, I literally go and do. I'm like a big fan of yoga with Adrienne. She's like on YouTube. It has like hours and hours of different sessions you can follow along with if you don't have like a yoga membership or whatever, because I like have tried to do some of those classes, but I get like self-conscious about if I'm hitting some of the poses right, I'm like, is someone looking at me?
Oh, come on.
I always
You
do.
as confident
Well,
as
no,
you
but
are?
also
my
hot
goodness.
yoga is really difficult. Like the temperature difference makes a big difference because like
It's true.
like when I do yoga in a regular temperature room, I'm sweating by the end. So in a hot yoga class, I like get drenched. So the difficulty level is definitely there.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. It's intense. It's great. It's wonderful for flexibility, mobility. And my background in the Marine Corps, it was a lot of grunt, like very, brute force, weight lifting, humping humping basically is like hiking with these massive packs and weapons and ammunition, and it's just really hard on the joints, hard on the knees, hard on the body. Yeah. So I wanted something that was sustainable, something that I could do that I can, take care of, like I said, check all the
Is it healing on your joints?
It's very healing, absolutely, sure. Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
okay,
and that's my only form of exercise, and people can't believe it. They're like, no, you're sneaking, sneaking off to the gym, lifting weights in the middle of the
night. Wait, I see a bicep here. I am not sure if that's
It increases blood flow in all those areas and the mobility. So it hits so many muscles and gets the blood flowing to them in places where you wouldn't usually be doing it. I always use yoga as a warm-up before I lift, because it just gets like your whole body in line.
But how does it chisels? Hot yoga oh my god, that's not hot yoga. There's more to it than that.
That's the wine.
Is it?
That's good wine.
Wait, hold on. Is that okay? Hold on. You're saying the hot yoga is cardio too?
The hot yoga is 100%. Yes, yes. Cardio, endurance, breathing. It's a meditation. It's breath to movement.
If you do it every day, I'm sure your like difficulty level is pretty high though. Like I'm sure you are very skilled with it, right? Or how long do you do it for every day?
I do it every day for the duration of the class, which is about an hour.
Do you own?
No, no.
An hour-long hot yoga session would have you dying.
It's
dying.
Okay, so I will divulge a little secret here. I'm not going to say her last name, but do you remember Karen that was part of the show for a little bit? She invited me to their hot yoga, and she would do it at 6 a.m. And she thought I would not be able to handle it. And I went, she does it right in the front of the class. She goes, Kinga, I think you need to go to the back of the class because you can't do this. I kept up with them. But you know what? It was so hard. I never wanted to go back. I did 2 classes, and my hair was, my hair like this? It was soaking wet. Like I looked like a rat with wet hair. And
so you're describing the difference on why I do yoga in just regular temperature at home before I work out, because if I do hot yoga, it makes me so tired I don't get a quality lift in afterwards, because it is very strenuous. It's high level.
It's extremely strenuous, and I'm somebody that only likes to wash my hair to be sustainable, because we're saving the planet. One show at a time. And washing my hair takes so long because I have a lot of hair. And David, you know this, you've got a lot of hair. So if I'm washing my hair every day, I'm wasting a lot of water. If I do that hot yoga, I'm so sweaty. Like I can go on a hike and barely be sweaty. I don't need to wash my hair. I know you think that's gross.
Yeah, it looks like you haven't washed it in a few days.
I brag about how I only wash my hair once a week. But if I do hot yoga, boom, I have to wash my hair. Yeah. There's no questions about it.
It's all about preserving those natural oils.
Yes.
That's what it is.
David, how often do you wash your hair?
I work construction, so my hair gets dirty a lot. So at most, like 3 days out of the week.
But so you understand, hot yoga, you're washing your hair.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, no, I used to have long hair. I can only imagine.
So it's a very serious workout.
I'd still do it.
So back to the wines.
Yes.
But wait,
let's get back to the wine, shall we?
But wait, we can also tie in the importance of, if you are enjoying something like wine every day, it is important to have a healthy habit like yoga, or hot yoga, to cancel it out. Get the blood moving, detoxify, as you mentioned, because
that's absolutely true.
Wine and drinking is very fun, but it's important to also maintain your health, keep your body young.
That's true.
Cellular health.
And I
wine has
advertise
a lot of
that I eat what I want, I drink what I want, I do whatever it is that I feel like doing, whatever it is that I'm in the mood to do. I'm healthy, and I always reach for healthy things, but I don't count calories and carbs and
I don't either.
stuff like that, because I
don't have a stomach like
that. So you're doing an hour of hot yoga a day, which is very very strenuous, and then you said CEO of a few different companies, which, being stimulated all day working, that burns calories too. Obviously not at the same level as like a strenuous workout, but it's still takes energy to do that.
Absolutely.
What are the other
100%.
companies you're CEO of?
We'll talk about that on the next
Next
show.
show. With,
That's a whole
only
nother-
if you come
yeah.
with.
Oh, and by the way, if you want the best, not
Your
to
beauty.
insert a plug right now, but the best
No,
hot
insert the
yo-
plug. Do it.
best hot yoga studio in the valley, and I've been to every single one that I can think of. Radiate.
And where is it?
RADI 8. And it's fantastic. This is the studio I go to every day.
Are you gonna bring us?
I'll take you. Yeah,
Let's go.
absolutely.
Let's go. Let's all
Absolutely.
go.
It's the best
In
hot
the
yoga
green.
studio.
Mhm.
The staff
Where
is wonderful. Every instructor is absolutely amazing. The routine is everything that you'd ever need, and it's just a perfect community. I picked that studio, and I don't look back.
Does your girlfriend own it?
Does my girl?
Where is it, Gabriel?
No, she doesn't.
Where is it?
It's an arcade. They have 2 locations.
Oh.
One on Indian School and 44th.
Is it by
cool.
cheeseburgers?
It's right in that same
Yes,
I
know
go watch
Lola-
football games at
Lola-
Cheeseburgers in
Lola
Paradise. Or
Lola
cheeseburgers
Coffee is
and
right next to her. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right
I-
up the street
Cold
from
beers
my
and
Pilates.
cheese.
I-
I go there to
Yes.
drink and eat burgers. I don't go there to do hot yoga and be healthy.
Well, so you know where it is.
I
So
park right in front of it. I love it.
Yeah. So go in there.
I love the
and
cheeseburger place. Yes.
Go in there. Ask them any questions that you want. They're all amazing. Tell them.
No,
Gabriel-
I don't want to ask questions. I want to go with you.
Okay, come with me. I'll take
We'll
care
go
of
with
you.
you.
Yeah, so,
Yes,
it'll be great.
done.
So that's their first location. Their second location they just opened up is in Desert Ridge, another beautiful studio,
Nice.
and that's
I'm gonna
fantastic
have to
too.
check it out.
Radiate.
I think you
That's
need
where
to
we'll
open
go.
up your own studios.
No, I don't know.
Are you
about
a
What?
yoga instructor?
I did go through a yoga teacher training. Yeah,
Of course you did.
But I don't actively instruct yoga.
But you've done it.
I have.
Wow.
I did it, yeah.
It's
Mhm.
incredible. So what is on your bucket list and what is going to happen with this wine? Like, is it going to continue? Can you keep creating more wine?
Yes.
Or is it limited production and goodbye, bye-bye?
Oh, you're talking about vintages? Or,
Yes.
Yeah. No.
I
this
think we
is-
only have 4 minutes left.
I look at this. I look at this as like a child. Now I don't have any children, but I'd imagine that a child that you want to raise, you do the best you can with what you know, and when you know better, you do better. But no matter what, you have this innate, intuitive knowingness that if you just love it and you care for it, then it will be everything that it was meant to be. So I approach this wine, the winery, and every business, every person in my life with that exact same mantra. So that's the strategy.
Well, I have to have more wine. Cheers to that. So Chet is my son, and Rachel and Chet are the most beautiful, perfect specimens in this
Why are you
planet.
bragging about your kids? It's not necessary.
Because I think they're amazing. So I understand what your philosophy is.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sunset. Others to you,
Thanks for
buddy.
the compliment. I mean, you're kind of doing a self boast though by saying you have the best kids ever. It's like an indirect brag. But I'll
So
take
Richard,
it nonetheless.
in closing, we only have 3 minutes.
Yes.
Brag on this wine.
Well, you
Well, I
tasted
don't
the
think
wine.
you touched on what food pairings you would do with it.
Well,
He
I
said lamb.
recently did this Pinot Noir on my birthday, which was September 10th.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
Actually,
late birthday.
On September 9th, the day before when I had dinner guests, relatives. in
September
town.
9th.
Yeah, it was the day before my birthday. I made a dinner for my
Day after
guests.
the Queen and my dad died.
Who cares? I mean, about that, of course, but I'm talking about. I don't care about the Queen. I care about your dad. Okay. Anyway, I made this.
Richard backpedaled real fast.
I
Wait, hold on, hold on.
Do you want me to answer the question?
I rescind that statement real fast.
That's irrelevant to the topic at hand, which was
Okay,
what
okay.
did I
Now you have 2 minutes.
What did I pair this wine with?
And
I
your
paired
feet are
this
on the
with
fire.
an amazing Faroe Island salmon purchased from Nelson's, the best seafood source in the entire state, and
Totally
maybe
sustainable.
the western United States.
Shout out to
And,
Nelson.
Nelson's sustainable.
I served this with a beautiful Faroe Island salmon that had a lemon tarragon beurre blanc. This was stunning.
Totally
Yeah,
stunning.
it's fantastic.
Yes.
Mhm. Absolutely.
What would you pair?
Oh, and also saffron rice.
Oh,
with
nice.
that,
I love
yes.
saffron.
He already said
Yeah.
lamb. He already answered this.
I
That's
would-
why I was
I would
saying
do
we
it.
need to get to Richard.
Oh, yeah, he did say,
Yep.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yes, you said whatever you said.
Yeah, really, this wine will go with anything.
But the point is, not many people are going to get the chance to experience this wine. That's the fact. That's the reality.
And where can they find it right now, Richard?
Well, you can find it. You'll be able to find it very soon. The only retail is going to be Atlas Wines in South Scottsdale.
And Wrigley.
But right now,
And Monarch.
for restaurants, we have Binkley's, we have Cafe Monarch, we have as of tomorrow, I'm delivering to Wrigley Mansion, and
I'm working on.
What was the
Saints.
first one you said?
I'm working on
Dingley's?
Sanctuary
Saintleys.
Month.
Or Bingley's?
yeah, and the biggest one, one of the most is on Halo, which is the most amazing restaurant. White tablecloth.
That's where the dinner is.
That's where the dinner is
exactly.
tomorrow
Um,
night.
And
After my dad's funeral.
Scottsdale.
And Calla, Bo McMillan's new restaurant has it there, so that's where we have it so far.
And
I'm
we have
working-
we have commitments from Lisa Dahl's restaurant group up
Yes.
in Sedona.
Sedona, oh, yeah.
Mariposa.
Wait, is Kala the restaurant
We
that's
put it
on
in a
Camelback
subdivision,
right
Sedona.
there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that place has all the hype right now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so we have 1 minute left. What's on your bucket list? You have 1 minute to close this.
Reach my full potential in life and love.
Perfect.
Bingo.
Chet,
Write more music.
spread the love. In the green room, Back Green. Saving the planet one show at a time. It's 55 minutes. That's when.